I have a very hard time taking people at face value, taking people genuinely. Especially if I explain to them and tell them like, hey, you know what? Here's the simple moral fact is that like I said before, the relationship between citizen and government is illegitimate. Taxation is theft. That's a big one. Taxation is theft. That's just such like a simple, like you can go through it logically and just like, okay, I use this example all the time, but like if someone is holding a gun to your head and saying, pull money out of an ATM machine, and they say like, I'm going to take this money from you, but it's going to go to poor people or it's going to go to people who need it. It doesn't really matter. You're still stealing money. It's still involuntary. It's still wrong. It's still morally wrong. And it's really hard for me to wrap my head around the idea that somebody can understand that. Because people have to understand. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, it's one thing if I am not one to explain to them or this is something that they don't understand. But when I've explained that to them, they just ignore that. I have a very, very, very extremely hard time thinking that they are a genuine person, that they are not two-faced, that they actually care, that what they want is just their bottom end. And these are always, I mean, I'm not going to say for everyone, but 95% of the time, these are people who they themselves profit off of that same system. They have children who they get tax benefits from, and or they're on some kind of welfare or support. They go to public schools because, you know, they can't afford it, and that's understandable. But, you know, they don't understand that, well, A, education is so devalued. Who even fucking needs it these days? We have fucking AI and Grok. And B, it's the same system as Medicaid or whatever government type of thing, right? It's free to you in a sense, not really because you're still paying taxes, but like it is more advantageous to you than someone who is not in that system. And just like the situation with the ATM, somebody holding a gun to the person pulling money out of an ATM machine, that is wrong. And I guess what I'm talking about, and you know, if you have an understanding of this or have some knowledge to drop, please drop in the comments. I'm not saying that sarcastically or like in any kind of prodding way. Like I truly want to understand the justification for that. I have such a hard time with that. I feel like there are people in my life that I have truly just taken out of my life, really pushed them away, you know, whether it's online debates or just even getting into messages in person, having, you know, debates on the podcast, like people who just, they are steadfast with this opinion and they just tell themselves like, it's okay to steal from people. It's okay to steal from people because it helps, even though it doesn't really, like if you look like 5 steps, it's like it doesn't really help. It helps the people at the top. It's a way for the elite to keep getting their shit right. One of the things that was so genius about the Rothschilds is they were the first family. This isn't like me getting into like Jewish conspiracies or anything, but like just factually, they were the first family. Or the first people with wealth who figured out, oh, you know what is going to help me continue to get that wealth in a way that no free market can? Put it into the government. And that's what they did. And that's what people are still doing to this day. The thing is, the people in government have no accountability. The people in the free market have more. It's not perfect. It's not utopian. But I'm someone, I would rather live in a world that is moral, where it's like the old saying, like, you know, do the ends justify the means? a lot of people in this same pro-government sphere, and a lot of it too is because they grew up in that same public school system, or even the private school system. A lot of it's it's not truly private in my mind, quote unquote private system, especially with this whole Reynolds thing. But like, people will just think, oh, because of the narrative with all these wars or whatever, like we dropped nukes on Japan and that was really shitty, but it created a more moral and just world, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Like, I don't care. I don't care. And the difference is, if a businessman were to take advantage of people and to do those same cruddy things, I'm not saying that's okay. But that's the big difference, right? I'm saying that neither of these things are okay. And the other party is saying that one of them is okay. And I have a very big problem with that. And I get the other side, the other explanation of it, where it's like, oh, well, these businesses will just have so much power that nothing can stop them. Go through history. The times that the government has more power than the business, abuses more power than the business, it's tenfold. Government does way more. Governments start wars. Businesses start conflicts. There's it's just not even the same. I guess my point is, and the religious stuff frustrates me too, but I can at least kind of, there's almost like a naivete about it, or almost like a low IQ thing about it. But I think it's different because, like, when you're arguing with religious people, the arguments are so low IQ that it's like, I can't even. And the thing it happens sometimes with government discussions too, but I feel like more often than not, when I'm talking to people about politics, I know that they're smarter than the person who I'm arguing with religion. And the government stuff is like, it's just more logical. And my point is just as the same as somebody were to art, like if the evil corporate businessman was doing something that was really fucked up, like if I was just to sit here and say, oh, well, it's okay that he does that because I believe in capitalism, like I would be just as two-faced, right? But in that scenario, I would say, like, there's at least some kind of accountability for that. Like in a free market, if there's no government in this fantasy world where there is no government, people would be able to see that and make decisions. There would be people that would say, hey, like, I'm not going to shop at your store. Or even if it's like a situation where they own multiple things in a community, it's like, okay, well, then I'm going to leave your community. When it happens with the government, there is no accountability. You could say, oh, well, you can vote. Really? You can cast one vote every 1, 2, 4 years. But what does that do? You don't get to vote on the issues. You don't get to vote on all the people that person in power then, hires and has to do their bidding. Look what happened with Trump. Everybody who voted MAGA, like, how many of them have been, like, vocally and gravely disappointed by what has happened with the Epstein stuff, with Iran, giving more weapons to Ukraine? How many of them voted for that? Not very many. It's just, and so I guess to wrap this all up, I have such a hard time with this. And I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do a better job at, like, really taking apart my own ego and really trying to see the other side, really trying to understand where these people are coming from. But it's hard because I think at the end of the day, people just are emotional about it. They're not logical. And I think a big part of the reason why they're emotional is because they profit off that same system. Or maybe they don't even profit off it, but that's how they live. And that makes sense. And I wish I wish I was more sympathetic to that. But I'm not. I'm just not, because it's wrong. I'm going to have more sympathy for the person who acts morally and is in a worse state. Like if they deny Medicaid, if they deny these food stamps, and then they are worse off than the people who do, I have a ton of sympathy for that person. I have an enormous amount of sympathy for that person. I do not have sympathy for the person who takes advantage of those government programs. Not only that, justifies it. I can understand, like, you know, if you have kids and this is like all you can do, but you understand that's wrong. I can wrap my head around that. I can't wrap my head around the idea of you're going to justify it. And these are people that I love. These are people that I care about. These are people who I consider friends and family. But when I see them have these points of view, it's really hard for me to look at them in a good light. It's really hard for me to look at them in a way that says you are a genuine person. You are not two-faced. There are truly points in my life over the last year, 2 years, where I've wanted to shut every single person I know besides my partner out of my life. Like I've wanted to burn every single fucking bridge that I have because this stuff enrages me. It boils my blood. I don't know how much of that is trauma. I don't know how much of that is the environment that I grew up in. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. But I guess I just wanted to talk about this today because I'm just curious if anybody out there feels the same. I just wonder if anyone else looks at these things that are happening, looks at people posting about it, looks at people's opinions. And I understand people are different online than in person. That's part of it too, I guess. But I guess I wonder if anyone has had these same kind of struggles. Because I'm telling you, man, it's really hard for me to want to interact with people and to have friends and to do all those things when that's such a barrier.